Yeah, we're using mostly Charlotte Mason.
Okay.
You've ever been to a Montessori school?
No. I haven't. But,
Hi.
I mean, you visited.
Yes,
Yeah, the lady who arranged the structure for Montessori school had a.
Is Ramona live?
Okay.
Named Charlotte
It should be
Mason.
now.
And Charlotte
Ramona?
Mason was
Ramona?
Oh, you might be muted.
She's walking up right now.
Also, you might be muted, Scott.
Ramona?
Yeah,
Ramona, Charlie, before we get started, I told the rest of the group this morning, I'm going to be gone tomorrow morning, just for the morning. I'm going to be gone on 8/13 all day, and on 8/18 in the morning. And on 8/13, Robert's also going to be gone.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I need to have off all day tomorrow, if that's all right with everybody.
Good for me.
Yeah, okay.
Charlotte, you won't be here tomorrow morning.
I will not be here in the morning, so it's the three of you.
Whoever, I don't care.
I can do it. It's fine.
Okay. Okay, we got it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No problem.
My wife homeschooled our kids. We used a curriculum, basic curriculum, at a school in Baltimore called Calvert School.
By the way, you weren't on here this morning when Mike came in. The second person that we're going to have to this afternoon,
Yes,
case ID 603 and 604 is the common one. We can't talk about his name.
okay.
You can't say his name.
Okay.
Can't
I
say his
told
name.
her, his or her,
Oh, okay.
because I think I saw both of them.
Okay.
Are they going to be incognito?
I don't know.
You're gonna be incognito,
Probably come in with masks on.
probably.
I was hoping wigs and stuff.
I am gonna come up to, if I had known where my mustache and, I've got Harpo marks. If I had known,
I've got my Freddy mustache.
There you go.
you have your what?
Look, here.
My Freddy.
Hold on.
Where'd you get, like Ramona, you have that like laying around for real?
You got props.
Yeah, for real. I went to New York and they had a Queen fest going on, and one of my sister's friends has a Queen cover band. And we had a great time. Hard rock.
You rocked hard, is that what you're saying?
I rocked hard.
Okay, well, they're getting ready to bring them back. Hey, at the end, Ramona, did you find that face mask?
Yes, I think I did. It's pink.
Yes,
They have a filter in it.
yes.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, can I come by and get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very picky, and I have a little treat for you too.
You're very picky about what? I already watched it.
No, I mean, because it has the filter. No, I just want it, because I'm.
That's fine.
Vera Bradley, she does those purses and okay. And you know how they're real pretty prints? Well, her face mask, you can buy the filters that go in them. And I like how her face masks, they fit good, so they're under the glasses, but they don't make you feel confined like this. Okay, well, I'm gonna go sit down and be good. Now, you quit giving Scott a hard time.
I'll try.
Yeah. Kids learn to teach themselves.
The first one, the first two are in person, and I saw No, they'll be, I bet they'll be the second ones. 'cause
Yeah, the
some
first
of
one is, $7.99 and 802.
$7.99 and $8.02.
Yeah, page 5.
Okay, and then Charlie, before, when we're getting near the end, remind me so I can give these to everybody and I'll tell you about it then.
Okay.
No big deal. No big deal. Is Val out today?
Yes,
Will she be here tomorrow?
I don't know. No, I don't remember if she's busy or because she's staying out because she was around people, but her daughter had a wedding yesterday. Her daughter got married.
Hello, I think that's good enough reason.
I didn't hear what you said.
Her daughter got married yesterday.
Oh, well, I think that, I don't know if it's like she was up late, so she's been taking one day, or if she's gonna take like 3 days.
Oh,
To,
I would take a week.
I don't know. I just know she's not busy.
Where did she get married here?
Yeah, well, Port Aransas.
They had wait, I think, didn't they have to like put it off a little bit or something?
No, but they're very.
They were gonna do it at Bob Hawk Pier, but I don't know if they could
For real,
after the
they,
damage.
well, of course they couldn't. It's
Yeah.
scary.
It's trash.
Bob Hall, south of Port A. It's where a lot of surfers and a lot of fisher people go.
Heyman, you know what that square is?
Hello? Yes and no.
Okay.
It's from, that software that,
Who is this?
spelling software that Colin puts on there.
Oh, okay,
It generates that sometimes,
I don't
but
need
it
to.
doesn't do anything. and you
Because-
can't get rid of it.
because I was trying to figure out how, like, what was gonna,
Uh-oh, Charlie, I forgot what number we're doing.
but it doesn't hurt any, and
No,
it ain't right on top of
It
it,
doesn't do
so.
anything.
799
And 802.
You like it?
Mr. Chaucer?
Hi.
Hello,
Mr. Chaucer?
good afternoon.
You want to start with 799?
Let me ask you.
Okay.
Ms. Shaw, would you like to start with 799 or 802? The 802 is the land only. And 799 is a,
Both of them plant on it.
oh,
Well, it's got a trailer pad on it, but
yeah. Which one would you like to do first?
it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's do 799.
Just do them in the numerical order.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have some administrivia to go through. Just bear with us. I'll ask a couple questions along the way. We're opening a hearing on
Thank
case
you.
ID 2020-799, account 27020. This hearing is being recorded. We, the appraisal review board, is hearing your protest today. The board is Robert, Cindy, Kathy, myself, and Ramona is via Zoom. So you hear
Say hi, Ramona.
her. And
Hi.
Burke is the appraisal district representative. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using a survey form and emailed to ptab.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. We do appreciate it if you take it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with tax code section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all of your evidence that you want to use?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, thank you. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 4166F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F, and I'm signing to that effect, and I'm physically located in Texas.
I, Elizabeth Grazi, notarizing Ramona's signature. I also am located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. Could you read that for us, please?
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
And your name is?
Dale R. Shaw.
Thank you, sir.
I, Aaron Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board of the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Mr. Shaw, do you have a appraiser's license from the state of Texas?
No, sir.
Okay. Under your papers, there is something glued to the table, is a procedure that we're going to use for the hearing. You get to choose who goes first, you or the district.
The district, please.
Okay. 5 minutes.
Alright. Subject is count number 27020. Evidence indicates that it was purchased in 2019, but we don't know for how much. The subject was noticed at 22,760. And it does show that it has a trailer pad on it, which is a regular residential trailer pad, generating $3,800 in value. Next is a photo showing it. It's on a sort of grass, dirt access. It doesn't even really have a road. It has what's technically a road, but it's not paved or gravel or anything. And it's on Kasuth.
What's that street going out to?
That is, it says second, but it's, that's Dowdy right there. And then that big thing to your left is what we call the trailer ditch, like a large.
Oh, yeah.
Slab of
Where you
land.
could- Yeah,
Yeah, that's about where you are.
okay.
So the sales comps that we used were land sales in this area that we call Manning Market South. The sales were for, again, vacant land. They indicate values for the subject at $21,550, $24,060, and $21,710. So the immediate value of those is $21,710, which is $1,000 less, almost exactly, than our noticed value. Look at the actual sale figures. The sales are for $18,000, $52,500, and $36,000. So all you really have to adjust for there is size. And it indicates that we're high by $1,000. The equity grid, excuse me,
Which all he marked was incorrect, appraised market value.
thank you. So the equity grid just shows we're not doing anything unusual to this account. It's on a land schedule, just like its neighbors. So it should be exact, and it is. It's almost exactly our number, 22,680 instead of 22,760. And there's a sales ratio report included for South Central Rockport, which is the geographical region that this is in. It's not South Rockport, it's South Central Rockport, so it's none of the stuff towards the water. And we're at 97% in that neighborhood overall. I think that concludes our evidence. It's just it's just a piece of land, and we have 3 sales showing, supports our price per square foot. Should be down $1,000 for the subject.
Okay, so sir, Mr. Shaw, now you get 2 minutes to cross-examine, and then you get 5 minutes to present. So I'm going to go ahead and put you in for 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. To start with, I'd like to draw your attention to the photo down there. That's nothing like it is. That's pre-Harvey. That there's no fence, there's nothing, everything got destroyed, and it was all grown up. So I don't know when when the picture was taken, but it was pretty Harvey before. Most of the comps they have aren't really that close or that centrally. So what I did was, can you pull up the one with the photo?
Is it your file?
No, well, it's,
That one?
yes, that. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. May I? Sure. Go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. You want to pull back
Yeah,
out?
that's perfect. That's beautiful. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, good.
I'm just trying to orient it north.
That's good.
Stop.
Okay, to start with, just for your information, this is where I live. And I own this lot. I bought this lot because the people there, pardon my expression, but white trash. They had dogs tied to chains. They had all kind of crap and it was growing up. And they lost the property to a foreclosure and I bought it. I paid too much for it, but I wanted to control the neighbors. I compared this piece of property right here. It's a little bit bigger. It's 95 cents a square foot. Mine is $1.25 a square foot. My other lot, which is right here, is $1.20 a square foot.
Okay, wait, which one was the 95 cents? I'm sorry.
This one at 10.19.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, you have a copy of it.
Yours is how much?
Mine is $1. This one is $1.25, the one I'm protesting. And this one I own, which I'm not protesting, it was $1.20. So on both sides, they're cheaper. And there's no reason why. I mean, it shouldn't be any reason. So I'm thinking this should be lowered. And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have appealed this one except for the other one. The other one was really, really way off. So that's probably the only reason I appealed that one. They have.
Don't talk about the other one though. Don't talk about the other one.
Okay, there's no road. This is all gravel, I mean, dirt. We mowed it, we keep it mowed, me and my neighbor. We keep it mowed so we keep the mosquitoes down. I had to go in and clear it. It was grown up. You know, it's real bad.
You're saying that road is
It's
not
dirt road.
paved?
It's a dirt road, yes, ma'am. It's a dirt road and this is a dirt road, whoops, excuse me, from Vern to Cassuth is a dirt road. Second. That's pavement stops up there. And it's a dirt, actually it's not bad till you get right here and then there's nothing down there. The septic that is on it, after I bought it, I went and had it checked. And it's, I talked to Scott, I can't remember his last name. He came out and looked at it. And he said that it would cost me about $5,000 to get it to working because the drain field's clogged up. You gotta dig it all out and put a new drain field. So I'm thinking $1 a foot.
Are you done on this section?
Yes, ma'am, I'm done.
All right, so now, Eamon, you get you get 2 minutes. No, I'm sorry, you get 2 minutes to cross-examine, 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay. Well, you actually, you had a couple of questions, but you answered them. I was gonna ask about the utilities. Let me see here. Equity. Okay, well, I mean, your points are well taken. The sales grid is showing that our number could be adjusted down some. I think you're probably right. We're a little, just a hair high. Kind of within the market of error, but that's okay. But the trailer pad should also just come off because it's not really usable. It's not, we currently have it valued at almost $5,000, which is no coincidence that he told you it cost about $5,000 to get it working. It was valued on cost, but if it's not working, then it's basically not there. You know, you're $5,000 away from it working. It doesn't have any value, not really. So that puts the market value for, that's with the sales, median value, and taking the TP off on top of that, puts it at 17,294.
17,294.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, are you good with that?
Oh, I'm pleased.
Okay, so I just need you to clarify, Mr. Shaw. So you accept the value for 2020 of 17,294.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I make a motion on account number 27020, taking into consideration the incorrect appraised market value based upon what we heard from the district and from the property owner. I make a motion that we lower the value, total value for 2020 on this property to 17,290.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Shaw, you're done.
No, I got another one.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
Hearing is closed. Opening a hearing on case number 2020-802, account 18225. Right down to our members have not communicated with anyone and are signing an affidavit to that effect.
We don't have.
Affidavits for.
Affidavit.
Oh, no, it's not.
I know, you were just napping.
Just happy I made it in time.
I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 4166.
I, Kathy Houghton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Date, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I've not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F and am signing to that effect, and I'm physically located in Texas.
As a describing Ramona's signature, I also am located in Texas.
From all witnesses must be given under oath. Thank you.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Thank you. And your name, sir?
Dale R. Shaw.
Thank you.
I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I will present to the appraisal review board, the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Then you have a choice. If you go first or this one goes first.
I just
Okay.
want to remind you, or everybody that on this one, he marked Q2. So this time we're doing the median appraisal ratio exceeding the median level.
Okay.
Project is 18225. It is a vacant land parcel in the Manning Market South neighborhood. It is at 1815 South Fuqua. Pull up on it. There you go. That's Corpus Christi Street, Fuqua. That's the corner right there. It's like basically one lot, two little parcels off. It's just it's never been developed, ever. It's a bunch of trees and land. The sales grid will show sales from this area, Manning Market South, that are also land sales. So the first one was 14,000 square feet, and it was on South Kukla. It sold for 15,500. Second one is 15,000 square feet, and it sold for 65,250. Next one is 7,500 square feet, 7,500. It sold for 36 grand. And then another 7,500 sold for 18. So when adjusted to be like the subject, the median indicated value is 55,105, which is about $200, $300 above, $200 above what we have on it. Within the margin of error. The equity grid is going to be other parcels that are just going to be on the same land schedule. So it's going to be the same price per square foot. There's nothing different about this lot from any other lot. But it's going to say 54,900, and that's exactly what the median is, because they all adjust to be like. Sales ratio report included is for South Central Rockport, showing we're 97% in that area. Pretty straightforward. It's just land, raw land. It did see a significant increase this year. Last year, it looks like it was only 29,250. I'm not sure. I would assume that a change like that normally means that some sort of adjustment was pulled out of it. So let me see if I can. That concludes my presentation, but I'll look into that. So, what exactly that change is.
While he presents,
Sure. Yeah.
unless he needs something up.
You don't have to wait on me.
Okay, all right, so Mr. Shaw, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and 5 minutes to present.
Yes, ma'am. May I approach?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you pull it down?
Yeah, it might not render. It might be a big white space, but
Right there, that's perfect. Okay, this is my property. There's a big deep ditch here. There's no access to it. It was all grown up. I started clearing it and had stuff from Hardy all in it. It's all messed up. This is exactly the same square footage. 200 or 100 feet is joining. They have all the water utilities, the same thing I have here. For the last 12 years, the land has been exactly the same, the value. And both of those, you have copies of it. This year went from 29,250 to 54,000. Theirs went from 29,250 to 32,000, a $22,000 difference in higher than theirs went. They're exactly the same in land. Now, the value is different because they've got houses and stuff on it, but I'm just talking about the land. So I looked at that and I went up, I don't know, what, almost $30,000 in value. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So I went and just did some checking, and that's why yes, ma'am. I'm gonna have to get a drink. I had throat cancer, so I gotta have water. I'm sorry.
Do you need water?
No, ma'am, I brought some.
It's okay. You're okay.
It's all good.
When he was pointing at 828. All right, I'm just looking at the different accounts. I think I know what's going on. Let's see here. Okay, try 818. Maybe? It's 818. That's what it is.
What number is that other property?
57298.
Thank you, Ramona.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And then can you look at
Ask and you
829?
shall receive.
Speak and you shall find.
least you know I'm paying attention.
There you go. There is that.
You always pay attention.
So, yeah.
Ever since 2008, the property has been the exact same amount for both pieces of property for the bank.
Are you ready, Eamon?
Yes, okay, so here's what happened. Like you said, ever since 2008, the property's been this exact same number. The fact is, land is always appreciating some amount. If land isn't doing anything, just inflation's gonna happen, right? But it happens in this office in chunks. So some number of years, there will be an update, and we're not gonna tweak it 3 cents. The land table for Fuqua was changed this year. The Vern is just a different land table. So there are boundaries to our land table, they end, and the graduation happens over your whole neighborhood. So the further you get past Fuqua, the land value is gonna keep going up. The further you get in, the land value will stay the same, probably. I don't think it has too much further down to go as you head in. But you're on the line. That's what it is. You're on the boundary of, line's gotta be somewhere. So the change was made to the Fuqua land table. Fuqua houses are on it, and Vern houses are not. That's what happened. That's what it was. It was a reaction because we had sales on Fuqua, you know. But that's what caused the land table to change.
And you have sales on Vern and everywhere else that you compared it to. So you're saying that you're comparing apples to oranges on your sales.
Well, in a sense, we have to compare things that are different, right? It's all we do.
Correct, and that's exactly what I'm doing, except mine is closer to being exactly the same as any other property there. I mean, the ones next door are smaller, you know, and different. And that one, and those have been evaluated the same for the last 12 years, exactly the same. Not a dollar difference.
Right.
And this year, mine went up $22,000 more than that one. I'm not saying it shouldn't go up from what his did, 29 to 32, but I'm saying mine shouldn't go up from 29 to 54 when it's been the same for 12 years.
Well, I mean, the reason it is where it is just because when people buy land, they set the price of the land. That's all it is. I agree with you. It's a steep drop. I mean, it's kind of like one little line. It's a big change from yours to theirs. And in reality, they probably are a little bit closer to each other. But you know, is his lower? Is yours high? And to what degree? I can't figure that out right now. I can tell you that all the sales data said that yours is fine at 54. So I would sort of lend credence to his should have been looked up more.
Well, apparently they looked at it because they did raise it from 29 to 32.
Right.
But they raised mine from 29 to 54. And they are as close as you, I mean, I can stand there and throw a pebble over into his lot.
But again, it's a line, it has to be somewhere.
Yes,
You're just drawing a border.
I agree with that. But also I have no access to my property except to come through my neighbors. This is a real deep ditch and I can't get into it. So it shouldn't have even been as high as his, but I'm not going to argue that point. It's the same square footage, but I can't even get in there. Now, it had all kind of stuff from Harvey. I've been clearing on it for about a month now, trying to get it cleared up. But
how do you get into the property?
I'm talking to this guy here. He's a deputy sheriff in Barrett County. He let me have access through here.
Okay, so now, you get 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I did. I'm sorry. I just
Okay.
feel that it's, you know, it's way off.
Okay, so now, Eamon, you get 1 minute to close.
So did you have this in, I just want to see what entities it's in. Let's see. Yeah, it is okay. Yeah, in closing, we'll just point out the sales. That's all it is like we had sales of land in this area and we abstract it to be like the subject on a size basis. That's where our $54,900 amount comes from.
The other comps have access.
Probably. Yeah, I'll concede that this one definitely, it's in the city as well, so you'll have to like.
Is the other one in the
ditch and
city?
Everything. Yeah, they're all in the city, but I don't know if these comps sold with a ditch in front of them or not. I can't have pictures of them, but I don't think that it's 32, if sales showing that it's worth more than that, but it'll be less than 54, probably, yeah, maybe.
So Eamon, you're saying that the land table changes at the back of his property?
Yeah, so the land, there's a land table for properties that face Fuqua and a land table for properties that face Vern. They're just two different land. So they get looked at in different chunks. You can look at the Vern land table, we look at the Fuqua land table. And the sales on Fuqua affect Fuqua more, the sales on Vern affect Vern more.
Okay.
All right, and now,
Well, again, I'm not sure how that could be fair because both are as close to the same property as you could get. They both have city utilities. They're touching together. They should be close to the same or the same as the other property. If you're gonna have your land tables change, you need to change on the street, not on the property line in between the streets. That to me is not a very adequate place to start dividing stuff. Unless Vern was a dirt road or something and didn't have near as much access as Fuqua has, and they're both same street, nice streets and everything. So, I would argue that it should, I would accept the 32,400, the value of it. And, but an increase, but not 22,000 above that. Not 54.
okay, and now, the appraisal review board gets 5 minutes to discuss and deliberate, and I think he proved his point.
Well, I have trouble with the fact that comp 2, when adjusted, comes out to $81,000, and that's on Vern.
Right.
I think he proved his point. I would put him, me personally, I think he should be at the 32.4.
I think it needs to definitely be reduced. I'm not sure, sir, at the 32.4.
Why?
Because land table and sales prove that on this street, there are, sales to prove the value that the district has put on it. So maybe 40,000, I don't know.
That's what I was thinking, somewhere around that term there.
40 is.
Ramona, what are you thinking?
Well, it definitely needs to be lowered, especially when you look at comp number 2, a piece of property that's smaller than his, and it's supposed to be on that different land schedule. I don't know. I know it needs to be lowered.
Can you do 40?
I could do 40.
This is not about the number. Y'all can make the number whatever you want. But just so you know, comp 2 is indicating that this value is significantly low. It's saying that
Wait,
Vern,
comp 2 in what?
In the sales
or in equity?
it's showing you that Vern,
Sales.
that this lot is smaller and Vern is worse.
In sales or in equity?
In sales.
Okay, because he marked equity on this.
Correct.
So,
But he's just making.
But if you look at how it's being treated, the market value.
This sold like comp number 2, it would sell for 81.
That's what adjusted means.
Yeah.
right,
That means our number's low. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't indicate that our number's high. It indicates that our number.
Well, I'm good with 40.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion on account.
Did you have something?
Yeah, just one question. We ascertained that on a square foot basis, that two properties are equal.
No.
They're
I'm just
equal?
curious. I'm
No.
just curious.
Diagonally.
I know that these are unequal, but how about on the same land table here and here, are those two treated the same?
Are you looking at 829? That one down there?
Yes.
I actually just looked that up. The 829 is more per square foot than the subject because it's smaller.
Okay.
You've got economy of scale.
Economy
here.
of scale.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's on 38, the land table is called 3,800 Fuqua. So, I mean, it's on
But
the
it's
same.
on
land.
Fuqua, so it should be on the Fuqua.
There is an economy of scale. Okay, that's fine.
I'm fine with it for you.
I'm good with 40.
Okay, so on account number 18225, taking into consideration the appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal, and also from what the district told us and from what the property owner told us, I lower the total property value for 2020 to 40,000.
Second.
In favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Davis. That's it, 40,000.
You didn't bite your leg or anything, did you?
It's just money. Can't take it with you.
No.
I tell my son all the time, I'm gonna try to spend all the money I've got so he has to bury me. Are we done?
We're done.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all's time and I really appreciate y'all taking time to do this. I really do.
Thank you.
We'll get something in the mail that restates this basically.
Okay.
What would really help us is if you would fill out a survey about your ARB appraisal review board experience. The girls have it up front, or you even will get some info on how you can find a survey when you get the other mailing.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Y'all
good
be
week.
safe. All right, it's hard time. Try to do what you can.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more in person. And this is the one that's. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Confidential. Pretty sure.
What that gentleman's son says when his. Oh, Dad.
You know if the person is here?
They are, or they were.
Do we know which one we're doing first?
No.
6:03.
How are you doing? Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody once again. All right, guys, this is the 130 confidential owner. I'm gonna go talk to them in just a second and remind them to not say their own name. Ramona, this
I heard.
next case number is confidential, so just do not address them by name, please.
I got it.
Okay, we're gonna put that out there. Thank you, everybody.
We'll be good.
Mr. and Mrs. Confidential.
I don't know. That's understood.
Hey, Mr. Hey, Mrs.
You.
You.
Hey, woman over there.
Sir.
Huh? Of course we are. But we're not saying anything bad.
Do you know if we have anybody else at 1:30?
I don't know. Charlie, I bet Charlie knows.
I don't know.
Too long.
She hasn't told me
No, there's
anything.
one
about it.
more at 1:30 there. No, there's one more at 1:30.
After those there too,
And two at 3.
and then there's, who's on first? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're just not, but the public doesn't have access to this.
No, I know.
I mean, they could look up the address if they care. Are you still there, Ramona?
I haven't gone anywhere.
Hi. Well, we can't, Scott isn't letting us see you today.
That's okay. I'm having a really bad hair day.
Okay. I thought your hair looked cute.
Maybe yesterday.
Did Lucy go with Mike to work?
No.
Oh, you have Lucy?
Yeah, she's napping right now. She had a busy morning.
Today's
I tried to get a haircut after the morning session. They were lined up in the parking lot.
Monday.
Dang.
They were lined up in
Yeah,
the
I run
parking
that
lot.
one person at a time, like when they get my haircut or whatever. Take your temperature and wash your hands.
It's crazy.
Well, it's good. It's a good thing.
They were lined up in the parking lot waiting to get in. What is this? Get a haircut day or something?
It's the first Monday. of the
Well,
month.
that's right.
what
It's
it
the
is.
first Monday in the month.
That could be.
That is it. They got their money.
What does that have to do with anything?
Huh?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because they get their check on the
People
first.
People make things like the 1st, the 15th, the 30th, whatever.
You know, go ahead and do it at the
I don't,
beginning of the
but
month
some people do.
and then you're done with it.
There's a hair cutting schedule.
There is. We're gonna talk to you about that, Scott.
I just go when I need it.
The last little bit I did myself, so, you know,
Wait, did you cut your bangs or what?
I just cut around here and,
Around your ears? Can
The back
guys
and the-
see to do that?
Huh?
Can you see to?
look in the
That's why
mirror
it's
and just
missing an ear.
snip, snip, snip. It took a little bit,
Not all the time.
little ear.
You know, okay.
Come on, Mike.
Can't hear me.
That's a little too crazy, I said that, yeah, okay. Our secret.
Yes.
Here are the property owners.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're gonna call you
You
Mr.
ready?
and Mrs. Confidential.
Okay,
Do you have a choice as to which property we do first? There's 2 properties listed. One is 36 Sandpiper and one is 1 Sandpiper. Do you have a preference?
No, we don't care.
Okay, we'll take them in order then. 603.
Which one first?
36 Sandpiper. Okay, opening a hearing on case ID 2020-603, account number 24866. I'm sorry, 24886. This hearing is being recorded. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. The appraisal review board is Robert, Cindy, Kathy, myself, and Ramona is on via Zoom. We do not
Hi,
work-
Ramona.
we do
Hi,
not-
Ray.
we do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all of your evidence that you intend to use?
Yes, if you have 4 sheets, I have 4 sheets.
The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I've not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Tate, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F, and I'm signing to that effect, and I'm physically located in Texas.
I, Elizabeth Garzi, notarizing Ramona's signature. I also am located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
Is this an online protest?
Wait. Let-
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay. What did you want, Cindy?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can go first, or the district can go first. You get to choose. The procedure is glued to the table in front of you there.
All right.
You want him to do that before he starts?
Either side.
Okay.
Sign it, sign it.
Here, what you just stated.
I'll swear real quick. I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay. In front of you is the procedure that we'll use for the hearing. You get to choose whether you go first or the district goes first.
Yeah, we'll go first.
Okay, you have 5 minutes to state your case.
All right. Do all of you have in front of you a spreadsheet that we prepared?
Yes.
It starts with
Yes.
the appraisal district number, the address of the house.
Here it is.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, one of the things I did was when we saw this, I decided I better find out how to do a appraisal appeal. And one of the things it says under tax code 42.26 is the appraisal ratio of the property exceeded by at least 10% the median level of appraisal of a sample of properties in the appraisal district consisting of a reasonable number of other properties similarly situated or of the same general kind or character. So that got me to thinking, since these properties are on Sandpiper, why don't we get the appraised value from the appraisal district of every house on the Sandpiper? Because that's similarly situated, same kind and character. And we excluded some of the properties, like the ones on the end of the finger that look out on Little Bay, and we excluded properties that had brand new houses built on them after Harvey. When you look at all of those, the one Sandpiper property down at the very bottom, it shows an 87% change in the value. scroll up from the bottom up to 36 sandpiper, it shows 113% change in the value from last year's value to this year's value. We're not including the land because the land stayed the same. When you take all of those values, and you'll see that they're in the teens, the improvement property, and the improvements on the property, when you look at all those, it's anywhere in the teens. There's a couple of properties that are 176%, ours is 113. I see those, but when you average all of those, the number you see on the bottom is 610% divided by 25 properties for an average of 24.4% average increase. Second thing I would like to point out is we received information about our comparables. So the second handout is a handout that is exactly like the first one, except it has additional information on the bottom. And that is right there. Okay, so when you look at the comparables that the appraisal district used for one sandpiper, there was 7 of them. 2 of those comparables are under protest. So I figured that would probably not be a fair way to do this. Let's just look at the comparables that are not under protest. There's 5 of them there for one sandpiper. I took the appraised value for 2020 divided by the square feet, and you get an average of $97.23 per square foot for those 5 values. The house we're talking about on one sandpiper has 2,556 square feet, so that the improvements are 248.
We're doing 36.
Okay, I was going to do them both at the same time.
No, you can't do that.
Okay, let me do 36 then. All right, so 36 is, thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. So 36, we took all of the comparables that was given to us by the appraisal district. You see them all there. You see the square footage. And then what we did was figured out the average for 36, which came out to $104.46, multiplied it by the square footage in 36. The improved values are $237.33. So the next document pertaining to page 36, property 36, is a summary. And it says 36 and it gives the comp rate on the back side. So there's 3 different things that we looked at. We looked at the appraised value by the district, the average comparable, and the average percentage value increase in that on that street. So the current value for 36 is being proposed at $596,000. Our opinion is $450,000. The value based on, wait a minute, I got that mixed up, right? Proposed value is 2.
For landed improvements.
Okay. All right.
596.
Yeah, 596. So the land is the same on all. Okay, that's where I got a little bit confused. The very top one is the current proposed one and the value that it is currently. The value, when you drop down to the second one, is that value based on the district's comparables. It's 531. Values based on a percentage of increase applied to every house in that, using that 24%, using all the houses in that on that street is 470.37.
Okay, and so now, at this point, you ran out of time on that, but you'll get time again in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll get time.
Yes.
That's fine.
But now, Amon, the district has 2 minutes to cross-examine and 5 minutes for presentation.
No, we'll
Okay.
just do the presentation. So
Forget the cross.
kind of however you like.
Okay.
This is property 24886, single family residential home on Sandpiper. Was purchased last year, 2019. To the best of our knowledge, the sale price is $720,285. 596,920. The comps that we have include, the first one is the subject, obviously. You always want to include the subject. It's the most comparable, it's sale of this house for $720,285. Second one is at 19 Curlew. It's also a 5SS plus effective age, and it sold for $594, giving this an indicated value of $599. 638. 3 Luau is a 5SS plus. Again, it's a little bit older than the subject, effective age wise, and it sold for $550. So our indicated value of $557,000. Or it's a Mazatlan. It's a 6FB. It's a little bit nicer home, and it looks like it's brand new. It sold for $677. So that gives an indicated value for the subject at $701, because this one's just much smaller. The appreciation for the first couple of years doesn't happen. The comp 5 is 18 Flamingo, and it's a 4SS plus. This is a sort of an outdated style home, and it sold for $675. So if it sold like the subject sold like this one did, it would have sold for $738. So the median value is not actually the sale of the subject at $720. It's indicating that the median value is $701, and that the sale at $720 is a little over market. But the median indicated market value is $701,000, which is over $100,000 above our notice value. The equity grid just shows other houses in this neighborhood that are class 5 homes. This is a 5SS plus. We have a 5FB, a 5FB plus, a 5FB plus, a 5FB plus, and a 5FB plus. So very, very, very similar homes as far as quality, and when adjusted for land size and characteristics and porches and age and all that kind of we're using the same thing to make the adjustments that we do to generate the value to begin with, gives a median indicated equity value of $615,000. That's way below the market value. The reason we can get to market value on this year is because of equity, because we're not appraising 30,000 homes one at a time. We're appraising the whole county, and our model got us closer to the sale price this year on this one, but it still, sale of the subject is indicating that this whole neighborhood probably needs an adjustment, significant adjustment. We're lagging behind on value, but equity-wise, we're below the median equity value. There's nothing unusual being done to this property. The value change year over year was just an effective age increase as a result of interior photos. Get to see what it's like. There's no way for us to know if these things are being renovated or if they're updated or how nice they are until we find out. And when we find out, we try to, put it at the effective age it's supposed to be. But like I said, it doesn't get us to the sale price. So there's still some room to go on that. But it shows our market value and our equity value are both way under. We're at 596 on this.
Okay, so now you get 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal. Y'all do.
Okay, thanks.
So 4 minutes.
All right, you said 3 luau sold for $550,000?
Let me see. Yes.
Where'd you get that information from?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. It says it's verified though, so we have something in paper saying that.
So did you contact the buyer? I mean, how did you get that information?
We get sales prices by contacting buyers, contacting sellers. We send them questionnaires. If we can get sales data, sometimes people just wander in here and give us MLS sheets, and any way that we can get our hands on it and try to figure out what sale prices are in a reliable way. But it is marked as a verified residential sale, so that means that we're pretty sure that that's the number.
All right, so that's for Curlew. Did you do the same for Luau and Flamingo and all the other ones where you said it was sold for?
Curlew.
You said it was verified.
Got it. So Flamingo, Mazatlan, Curlew, and Sandpiper are all unverified. They're done as a % of the last list price. So we don't have, Texas is a non-disclosure state, so we can't compel somebody to give us their sales price. But we can't work with no information. So normally in a given year, the Association of Realtors would share sale prices with us. But as of 2 years ago, they just pulled our access to it. So even though we don't get told what exactly the number is, we're still required to do our job. So one of the ways that we generate these sales prices is a percent of the last list.
So what's the percent?
93% this year on this kind of residential property.
Where do you get that information from?
That was done from doing an analysis of known last list prices and known verified sale prices. So when we had both pieces of information, we looked at them and tried to find out what's the percentage and are there subcategories with like significant differences. Maybe should there be a different number for this neighborhood or that neighborhood? The only significant difference we found was land versus improved property. Land really sells for a little more off.
Last part of your presentation, you said that the whole neighborhood needs some adjustment because the median was 615.
Yes.
So how come you didn't adjust the whole neighborhood? Why did you just pick on the properties we own?
No, I'm saying your neighborhood needs what's called a neighborhood adjustment.
I know, but why didn't everybody up and down our streets get the same adjustment we did?
Because they didn't get the countertops that we did.
How do you know?
Well, we don't know. We don't know that they did. We know that yours did. So if Bob puts updates to the kitchen and living room, we don't raise the value of everybody on the street. That doesn't make any sense. So we have to describe the properties as best we can. If we can't see in your house, we don't know if it's a shell in there, is it updated, is it nice? And when we see what it looks like, if it's listed and it's, hey, wow, this is a really nice home, we have to make sure that the age and the property characteristics are accurate. If they're not, if there's some discrepancy there that has to be fixed.
I get what you're saying, but you looked at all these comparables and you said they were sold. They were listed and sold.
Okay.
And the median income was 615,000.
Oh, no, that's not what that means. So that the equity comps were not sales. The equity is not the same. That's not what equity means. Equity doesn't mean every house should be $500,000.
No, I get that.
Equity means that we're not treating your house unfairly. We're not doing something to your house we're not doing to everybody's. So you take these other houses that are in your neighborhood and say, okay, this one's got a 2-car garage, yours is a 1-car garage. What if this comp over here had a 1-car garage? Take half the value off that one garage. That's what those adjustments are. The 615 is saying if your home was appraised by us the exact same way we appraised these 5 other houses, you'd be at 615.
Right.
We're under appraising your house even for our records. Like you're a little bit, but that's not even that significant. I mean, 596 to 615 is not, when you do a pair comparison analysis, there's going to be a delta there, plus or minus. Basically, it's just showing you we're not coming after you because we got some issue with your house. We literally just drew your house with a 5SS plus. It gets an effective age, and it's described as it looks. The effective age is based on how much maintenance is done and how much depreciation the house has on a land table. I mean, equity-wise, it doesn't matter who owns this house. It'd be how it would be if anybody owned it. Nothing unusual going on about it.
I'm just curious why the median equity value is 615.
Well,
You say the rest of the neighborhood is way,
look at
way under
19
adjusted.
Curlew, comp number 2 on the. Let me find a good analysis. All right, so comp number 1, if you look at it, at 33 Sandpiper, you're at 36 Sandpiper, right? So you're a 5SS plus, they're a 5S. Those are pretty similar. There's going to be about the same price per square foot. Your land is exactly the same. Your land value is exactly the same. Their market value is 605, 540. Yours is 596, 920. That's the equity. The equity is y'all's houses are really similar, and your market values are very similar. That's the equity. That's what I'm saying. The adjustments being made there are for the fact that they have addition that you don't have. They have carport under element that you don't have. This is a boathouse thing, covered area. is taking all of the different elements of the house, including the effective age. And, okay, this one's a little bit older effectively than yours is, and it's making a small adjustment for time here. And there's, this is literally just like we described the house, we put it into the system, and we modeled the neighborhood, and it gets us to this number. And as long as we're at or below this number, you're not on the high end for how we appraise this neighborhood. You're at 596. These guys are at 65. These guys are at 66. Just go to the next one. These guys are at 657. It's on the Riviera. They got more land value. It's on Mazatlan. They're at 589. I mean, so that's what that shows. And what I was saying is we have room to go because back up to equity cost number 2.
Well, he's finishing answering, but we need to.
That means that this needs to go up, and this value needs to go up. This needs to be raised along with this one. This whole thing needs to go even beyond this to about 700.
Okay.
But equity-wise, that's why.
Where are we?
Okay, so now, he pretty much did his rebuttal time. Did you have something else you wanted to add? Okay. So we're getting ready to go into closings, but can I ask one question before we go into closing? When you purchased the home, did you also purchase the contents, like the furniture and everything? Because it kind of looks like.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So can you put value on that from when you closed?
Boy, I don't know, I mean. Yeah, I guess. I had all the pots and pans, appliances, everything. I don't know, 30,000, 25,000, yes.
Okay. All right, so now you get your 1 minute closing and then the district will get their 1 minute closing.
Well, the only thing is that according to the tax code, it has to be property similarly situated or similarly kind. And it just makes a lot of sense to me to check on what all the houses on that block. And when you look at all the houses, they're all within the 20% range of square footage. They're all within probably a 10-year range of when they were built, except with the exception of a couple of them. I mean, they're all similarly situated. The land value is all the same, other than the ones on the end. And it is not the case on the comparables and all those adjustments and everything. It just seems to me when you're doing it at 20, when you take all the values, the increase, nobody went down. All these values on that block went up. You average it out, it's 24%. Ours was 113. Go ahead. 87, excuse me. I'm on 113 on 36. So I don't see how that's fair and equitable when you're using properties that are in different parts of that subdivision. People that are familiar with that subdivision know that houses on Curlew are going to be a little bit higher than somebody that for Bay Shore or some of the other properties listed. They're just going to be a lot higher because they got views and they got other things going on for them.
Okay. All right, so now district, you get 1 minute to close.
So what was protested was market and equity. For market, we're $100,000 off of this. Specified probably $20,000 to $30,000 worth of stuff was in it, and sale price was $720. Our indicated value is $701. So there's $1,000. Property, sure, it could be. $700,000 is still a far cry from $596. And the equity just shows we're treating this house the same as every other house in this neighborhood. Nothing abnormal going on. It's 615,000 would be, and I just want to point out that the appropriately adjusted. The adjustments have to be made. That's all.
Okay, so now the appraisal review board gets 5 minutes to discuss and,
I think it's key that even if you take the personal property off of the sale price, it still comes down to within the proper range, 700,000.
You bought this when it was already, I know it had a lot of damage in the storm and it was totally built, so you bought it after that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so do you think you overpaid for it?
No, ma'am.
You know, at 720 and it's, we're assessing.
We didn't pay 720.
596.
We did not pay 720. I want you to understand that.
I thought you said.
he never said that.
No, we
thought you
never
said
said that. The
I'm
district said that's what it's worth. But we never paid 720.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. I should have made that clear.
Okay.
So, that's what, and I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
what it was listed for, I guess, is that correct?
No, that number came from the deed, I believe.
From what?
That's what it came off the deed.
The deed? Well, whatever.
No, the price isn't on the deed.
Where was it?
UVL. UVR.
How could it be UVR if the listing was 720?
Listing is not higher.
Oh,
What are you thinking, Kathy?
the sale price, your sale price was less than what we put
So
on it.
Ramona,
Let us know.
the 720 was not verified.
I understand that. I'm asking Kathy what she thinks beyond that.
What I think is that it's valued appropriately because of the values played that were given to us by the district. The median sales value is up at 701,000. The immediate equity, which even he's indicated as low, is 615. So I think 596, 920 is appropriate.
I agree.
I agree too.
And the homeowner is not shown what the average is. Once again, we've seen this over and over. You can't just take an average of a neighborhood compared to a data point. You have to adjust for square footage, land value, garages, porches, for condition, type of house, et cetera.
Right.
That doesn't appear to be done.
No,
Was
you
there
have to make
anything
adjustments.
listed on the property card that needed to come off or anything?
By that, you meant an extra garage that he didn't have, or of course we don't have, but you have not indicated that.
No, there's
But again, we're taking it off of the assumption that they paid 720 and
No.
that,
I don't think that makes any difference.
No.
I don't think
doesn't make any difference.
It was listed for that, we don't know what they paid for.
so if you took the 25,000 off the 615, and basically, well, I have to say, that puts you at what?
It comes right around that same number.
You're at 590.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be,
Both sales comparables and equity comparables.
I think it needs to be right where it is.
Right where it
Okay.
is.
All right, so on account number 24886, taking into consideration the incorrect appraised market value and the appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal, and based upon what we heard from the district and from what we heard from the property owners, I make a motion that we leave the value for 2020 at 596,920.
Second.
All in
Wait a
favor?
minute, can I ask a
Aye.
question?
Aye.
Proposed value is 577 on the appraisal district.
You have exemptions.
Y'all need to, I need to get.
That's for the number 1 sandpiper.
This is for, oh,
We just ruled on 36 sandpiper.
I'm sorry, that's right. I keep trying to do it like one, and then, I'm sorry.
But do you have are you using your exemptions?
Case closed.
No.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so
So
it's
then we do-
596, we left that one, okay?
We're
To
going
answer your
to,
question, yes, we have filed for exemptions. They haven't been applied yet.
we're opening a hearing on case ID 2020-604, count 24860. We can skip the script all the way down to all ARB members who are considering the protest but not communicated with anyone. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I did not communicate with another person in violation of tax code section 4166F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Cindy Dutch, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Tate, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F and am signing to that effect, and I'm physically located in Texas.
I, Elizabeth Picarazzi, notarizing Ramona's signature. I also am located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, the homeowner, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District.
I, Alan Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board of the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Once again, you get the choice. Do you go first or does the district?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Can we not start the timer yet?
Yes.
We're trying to sign documents.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Same thing as the last one. We have a document you've already reviewed showing the average price of 24.4 on that street. The same thing as far as the comparables. There's comparables in there that were under protest. We took them out, but it shows the average cost per square foot is $97 a square foot. The district's $104 a square foot. I understand that a house listed, so the appraisal district was able to look at the inside of that house, and it showed that we updated the kitchen. The rest of the house was painted on the inside and out. The value, the land I'm not going to talk about because they're all different. They're different lots. I'm just looking at the improvements on the lots. And that's what we looked at, of all the improvements of the lots on that street. That house was listed I think it was listed at 625. We had 3 people look at it. No one showed interest in it, so we took it off the market and we're renting it currently. So the proposed value that the district is coming up with is $577,000, and we didn't get any offers. We didn't get anybody interested in looking at it after several months. So the only improvements we did is we updated the kitchen. That the what the appraisal district has it, the improvements valued at in 2019 was 143,000. Now they're valuing it at 267,000. And I just don't see $133,000 improvement by painting the inside and the outside and updating the kitchen. None of the rooms were remodeled. Everything was the same. We didn't make any additions. We didn't do any subtractions. We didn't do anything differently. And now it's up $133,000 on the improvements. And there isn't any kitchen in Rockport. It would be $133,000. If you look at the square footage of that house, also that kitchen is a smaller kitchen than the kitchen that is at 36. But I just don't think that's fair and equitable. And when we already heard from the district that whole neighborhood needs to go up, but we're getting picked on because we happen to buy houses that were listed or we bought that were listed. Now they are saying, well, we got all this granite. Well, we have granite in the kitchen. But I know other places that updated their houses next door. Their houses are not they didn't go up anywhere near what this house went up. So I don't think it's fair and equitable anywhere. And the comps show that, and I just don't see that it's worth another $143,000, $134,000. Hard time, my mask is hogging me up. 23,000 increase in the improvements. The land has remained the same for the last 2 years. So that's not a real big adjustment, but the improvements is what we're looking at. So that's our case.
Okay, so now the district gets 2 minutes to cross-examine and 5 minutes to present.
Did you list your, this house for less than 577?
No, we listed in the low 600s. I don't want to get caught lying. I didn't bring the listing agreement. It was either 625 or 615. I don't know. You probably have it, right? What was it listed at?
Well, so in here, it shows 610.
610.
Okay, 610. I knew it was in the low 600s. So that's what we listed it at.
Yeah, it was initially listed 625 and dropped to 610, and I'm guessing removed. Right. It was removed in March.
Right, because we weren't getting any action on that house.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you that we're not, you're saying you know people whose houses are nicer than we think they are on the inside. Let me know what they are and describe them to me, and we'll just add that on there. But that's just not how we do our work. We have to do it in a way that's sort of impersonal. We're not scoping in people's homes, but there are differences. I mean, some of these houses are really not kept up with. Your effective age increase isn't for stuff you did in the last year, not the year that adjustment was applied. It's all the maintenance that's been done since 1974. And so you either do a condition code, like your condition is excellent, very good, like you do on a car, or you give it an effective age. That's what the effective age is. It's not just the paint, like you said, it's anything that's been done to this that has kept it from being exactly what it was in 1974. It would have been through, what, two, 3 hurricanes by now? Yikes. So the property ID number is 24860, single family residential home on Sandpiper. Last year's market value was $507,760. This year's notice value is $577,550. And if you look at the remarks, it says adjust effective years per listing info. We're not just chasing sales and thinking people sell things. It really is just when we have information, we try to use that information to accurately describe the property, or else the sale ends up blowing out the whole neighborhood. So the first comp is 36 Sandpiper. Is sold. Oh, that's the one that we just talked about, 720. So if it sold, this one sold like that one, it's been $695. The second comp is 3 Luau, sold for $550. If you like the subject, indicated value would be $530. Less than. 16 Pelican, if the subject sold like 16 Pelican did, it would sell for $553. 3 Bahama with adjusted is $595. Median indicated equity or median indicated market value based on sales is $574,572. It is lower than our notice value by $3,000 or $4,000, something like that. Again, it's within the margin of error that's going to happen, but it's showing that it could have been lower. The equity grid is showing other properties that are not necessarily sales. They're just homes in this area that are the main thing being compared here is the building. So 5ST plus compared to 5 STs and a 5SS. It's also on Sandpiper. Adjusted to be like the subject, their median indicated equity value is $574,590, which just happens to be very close to the indicated sales comparison value. And then after that is the listing, describes the property. 610 was the last list price. Let's see here. And if that holds true like it did for the rest of the county, indicated sale price would be $567. It's hovering around 570, 565, and 575. It's all in there. And then there's photos that show the interior of the house. These photos are why the effective age was added. It's just been taken care of. This house has not been sitting here falling apart since 1974. So that's why the effective age increased. The sales ratio report attached is for Key Allegro, and we are at 93% on a weighted mean and 96% on an average for Key Allegro. A very, very hot market in there in the last 2 years. I think that concludes our evidence. That's everything.
Okay. So, now, yeah, protester rebuttal.
Cross-examine and rebuttal.
Huh?
Protester cross-examine and rebuttal.
Yes.
As far as the comparables, were any of those comparables verified, or were they all just the 93%?
3 were unverified and 1 was verified.
Which one was verified?
3 were out. And I will add that you're more than welcome to verify comp number 1 for us.
It didn't sell.
Yep, they did.
Did it sell?
No, comp
Your
number
comp number 1 is,
comp number 1 is 36.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
as far as we know, it's 720,285. But he said that's not what they paid, but he didn't say what it was that they paid.
You got all the pictures. I'm not gonna give you more information.
I mean, I'm just letting you know that tells us that it's not below 596. Because if it was, you probably would have told us. And better for us to be in the realm where we're close enough to actual sale prices that people are less hesitant to give them to us. You know?
Right. Well, I guess the only difference between all the houses on Sandpiper and these 2 houses, number 1 and number 36, is they went for sale.
Yeah. They were just described in a way that we saw where they were at, and that's what it is. I will tell you that in the last year and going forward, we're doing a lot of work ever since the hurricane, really. There's a lot of stuff that's been changed. And one of them is keeping up with permits better. We've been great in the last 20 years, keeping up with all the city and county permits and stuff. A lot of them are nothing, especially in the county. But it would help in places like the country club in Key Alegre if we paid tighter attention to people's permits, then this stuff would happen when it happens, not when it occurs once every few years. Maybe it's something that can be done to a property every 4 or 5 years, whenever the work gets done. That is it, that they were listed and we up and had to update them. And anything that we don't update on this property when the sale goes through, that comes out in the whole neighborhood. If we say, this is described perfectly, but it's sold for 700, then the whole neighborhood needs to be adjusted up until this one is 700. And that's the problem. We have to have them described correctly first, and then we can do our neighborhood adjustments.
But you don't have the before pictures. You're looking at photos of the house that the realtors put on the market, right?
Yes.
And you don't have the photos of the house before that.
We wouldn't.
Okay, so you can't really tell what improvements have been made that are in these photos without knowing the way it was before.
Well, that's part of what being an appraiser trains you to do, is to look at that and give it a correct effective age. It's like saying, again, it's kind of like saying, is this in great shape? Is it in terrible shape? The question is this property's value as if it's been depreciating since 1974? That doesn't look like it was built in 1974 and left to sit. It doesn't.
No.
So it needs an effective age that's later than that. It looks like an effective age. I don't even know what yours is, but I would guess 06. What is it?
Good guess, pretty good guess, 04. Right, yeah, 04.
2004. There you go.
And the only thing I'd like to say about the district using what's on Zillow or wherever you're getting that, say what's on Zillow at home, is you're using the description that a realtor is putting on there to try to sell the property. The realtor is not pointing out things like a circular stairway that is a hazard for people to get up and down. She or he is not gonna put that in the listing because that's not attractive. They're not gonna point out the bad parts of the house. They're only pointing out the good parts. And so when you use that against us, then it's sort of like you have to go back to your realtor and say, well, you got to be careful what you're saying because you're not pointing out the bad things. And the district is using your flowery description about the kitchen to call that kitchen a gourmet kitchen when it's, how small is it? It's a tiny triangle. It has a stove and a microwave and a sink, dishwasher, refrigerator. There's nothing gourmet about that. But the realtor may use that term in order to sell.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's unfair.
No, it's attached to the photos, but I didn't read their property overview into the record because we put almost no stock in anything they describe,
Okay.
unless it tells us something tangibly different. Like I've seen one that says the property has a pool if you add a pool.
Well, it was quoted back to us when the decision was made. You quoted back exactly what the realtor said.
Well, I'm saying the thing that changes
He
photos.
needs to do his closing, or no, it's the protester closing, and then the district closing.
Well, I just got cut off, so I didn't, I was just trying to make the point that it seems like the district is in fact, they call it in the industry, chasing sales. And when we're the only ones on the block that have had an increase that we've had, and and by its own admission, the district is getting that out of the description of the property that is put out there to try to sell it. It's not fair to the homeowner that that's being used as a basis for the decision. I think that when you look at, I mean, the bottom line is you look at the entire block. And when you look at the block as a whole, we are way above 113% compared to 24%, and now 87% compared to 24%. Those are big spikes. And it's based on a description of a realtor that's trying to sell a piece of property.
Okay, so now, Eamon, you get a minute.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll just use my closing time. We're really, I don't have much interest in what realtors are saying about their pitch for the property. I wouldn't rely on that for anything. I mean, crazy stuff going through there, unless it says something helpful that's factual, like it has a RV hookup or it was updated in X year or something like that. But their flowery descriptions are not what's driving the value of these things. You know, we're below what these things are actually selling for. This did get a neighborhood adjustment on this house. I think we've proven our market and our equity. So it does show that there's a warranted negative adjustment that's nominal. But that's how that works. That's all.
Okay, so now the district gets 5 minutes, and I have a question. What did I say?
District.
Sorry,
District.
not the district. We are not the district. We're the appraisal review board. Scott, can I get you to pull up the overhead? Because I think is that house at the end of the canal?
Yes.
Like, is that it? It's right there at the very end of the canal?
Where do you make the curve onto Luau, onto Sandpiper?
So is their value being at the end of the canal, is their property value the same
Their land
as?
value?
Huh?
Their land value?
Yeah. Is it the same, because at the end, it's very, okay, I'm sorry, Kathy, I didn't mean to.
No,
yes. There's a 15% negative adjustment for any canal.
For what?
It does.
Yes, it does.
A 15?
I was gonna bring that up, that is a negative always from a real estate perspective, being at the end of the canal.
Yeah.
But if you've already taken an adjustment for it, I was gonna suggest an adjustment, but if you've already made one, then I wouldn't, but the figures show that they at least are warranted a $3,000 deduction approximately, because they're lower than.
Yeah, it's 574, 570.
No, wait, so what was the 565 that you said to me earlier?
So we're not using listing prices for our unverified sales. We're using a percent of the last known list price. 2%. Okay, if it closed, kind of being negotiated like you would expect it to in the marketplace. If their last sale list price was 610, last list price would be 567.
So
567.
If it's sold in March, if somebody walked up and said, "I'll take it," and they said, "We'll sell it to you," we would have expected that transaction to be for 567,000.
Got it.
Not for the 610.
Got it. Well, and they didn't get any offers.
But it didn't sell.
And
It's a
they
hypothetical number.
said
but
that
it's-
under oath.
Yeah.
So.
Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, when you took it off of the property, what was the last listing price you had it at?
610.
Oh, okay. And I know there was no activity on that.
Right.
I think that we should take the house down
What?
$1,000 to.
I'm taking it down to the 567 because Eamon said that.
Where'd you get the 567?
No.
No, it's only a $3,000.
It's 574, 570 is
Eamon,
puts it in the line
did
with
you
the.
not tell me that?
I was hoping to illustrate by saying that it is only $3,000 and on a $570,000 purchase, $3,000 either way is, who knows?
It's 3,000, but if we take the current price is 577, 550 minus 3,000, it's 574, 550. correct?
Yeah, but I don't, 3,000 isn't. I don't think that they could sell this house for 574.
Well, that brings it in line with,
I would not want it because of that spiral staircase.
Well, somebody has bought it over all these years, so there are buyers out there that will buy it. And then the fact that it didn't sell at 610 doesn't mean it's not gonna sell at 574.
But this house on its own, I mean, I have to say, I've seen it.
It's a nice house.
But it doesn't look in person. I mean, that photographer did a great job.
Yeah, I know
That is,
the location is an issue, I will say that.
it's definitely an issue.
I think 574, 570 puts it in line with the market.
I agree.
I don't know.
He's already taken into account the location by the deduction from the land value, which is location. Which I was gonna bring up, and I think that answers that question. You know, the fact that it didn't sell at 610, as I said, doesn't mean it's not gonna sell at 574. That's a big difference. That's my recommendation.
I mean, and just remember, they had market and equity. They did both.
Yeah.
They were 574, 572, and 574, 590. So
574, 570.
$3,000 below what their house is currently.
I don't agree.
I don't agree. Somebody else is gonna have to make them.
Okay.
What do you want?
574, 570.
Wait, ask for.
I think, I think, oh, there you go again. Y'all froze up. Oh, no, you're not. Okay. If it was me, and let's pretend I buy this house, how much do you think it's gonna cost to put in that new stairway? Because I'm not climbing that round thing. 10,000?
That house has been there.
How?
House has been there for years and sold multiple times.
No,
No,
we were the second owner.
we bought it from the original owner who
Did
built
you
it in
live in it
1974.
with the staircase?
Yes,
Well,
Did you put it in there?
no, it was already there,
Well, you bought it.
but we don't have any,
I'm,
we don't have any elderly parents, anybody that, you know, when we bought it, we took. And I was just trying to point out, I mean, there's other things, but a realtor's not gonna, she's not gonna point that out. She's
I
gonna.
know, I'm a realtor, I wouldn't point it out either.
No,
Of course not.
heck no.
but, and with the older people and all, I have seen that staircase, and I am telling you, it's older people.
well, I had a friend that had one in her house and it was horrible. But I proposed 567.
Well, I'll go with you on that one. You want to throw out a,
How about we go 570 in the middle?
I'm good with that.
Huh?
that was,
574 and what did she say? Five what?
567.
So not that far apart, so
well,
570, I would say.
well, I was at 565.
570 I could go.
I could go 570.
Could you go 569?
No.
Go 569,
No.
I'm gonna make a motion.
and I'm abstaining.
I'm gonna make a motion on account 24860, addressing incorrect appraised market value and appraisal ratio exceeding median level of appraisal, that between the information that has provided and that the protester has provided, that we reduce the value of the property of the house from 577, 550 to 570.
Second that.
570 even?
570 even. All in favor? Aye.
Well,
And one
Let the
opposed.
record show three approved, 2 opposed, motion carries. Case closed.
Wonderful.
No, 4-1.
Ramona, were you opposed or did you vote with them?
I voted with them.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so
It's
Charlie, your
4.
vote shouldn't count because it's 3 with and 1 against. You're only supposed to vote the top. I thought
Votes every time.
he does, but I don't think he's supposed to.
4 approved, 1 opposed. Hearing is closed.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll get something in the mail, like in about a week or so, and
Okay.
it'll restate the numbers and it'll restate if you wish to pursue it further. It tells you what those things are and how to do it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one is 2020-780 by phone.
Is that at the 3 o'clock?
I haven't found it yet. 780.
Yeah. Plant.
It's on page
That's it.
6 on the bottom.
I'm calling a 5-minute recess. Don't run away.
Where are we gonna go?
I don't think, yeah, it's like, well, Charlie, where are we gonna run to? Oh, okay. Yeah, but then
You know, the beach is kind of.
Isn't that crazy? They just
I
told them
fly
they
there
can't come in
going
the office.
home, and all the cars are parked almost all the way out to the highway. And they're told not to go on the beach. Well, you can't drive on the
You
beach.
can walk on the
You
beach.
can walk on the freaking
You
damn
just
mile.
can't
A mile
ride
more.
on the beach. I don't know what they do about golf carts. Do you know?
It's a vehicle, so yeah,
It's a vehicle.
it has to be, your golf carts either have to be on private property or in your golf course or trailer, or they have to be legal. And if they're road legal, that's vehicle. So
They make this a
it's a little bit of work to get a golf cart, turn signals and.
They have to have all the road stuff, you know.
Brakes and all kinds
You don't have to get the plates actually.
I'll tell you what.
We have to get a tag, is what I'm saying. Like to get
From the city.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, it is expensive to get the lights and all that.
Yeah.
There's golf carts driving around somehow, especially in the country club, everybody's got one. There's a, of course.
Yeah.
And they got kids hanging off the sides, hanging off the backs, they're driving them.
Hey, Scott, Jackie's gonna do the last one, so you have one account, because it needs to go out.
And they take some of the corners like, oh my God.
We can take these things
When I was little, people had those big wheels, those little electric cars. And I remember, I never had one, but you see kids in them and it was like, and it was like how it was lined
You're
up.
talking the kids, the
Little kids.
little one that like the kid can drive in your yard.
Little bitty electric cars,
Yes.
ran for 30 minutes,
Oh,
charged
yes.
for 10 hours. Have you seen them lately? Those things go. Those things are so fast. There was I was at the gym, somebody's kid brought a little Barbie car with her. And I'm telling you, as soon as she touches on the gas pedal, that thing just goes, it just takes off. I mean, it's like this close to literally doing a burnout in that thing. It is so fast.
You should see the kids in the West, you know, all the roads have
My only thing was
bike paths and photo paths. Both sides of the most.
They're four-wheeler barrels?
They're driven so much they turn into, they're up and down and around and this way. It's so many good kids. Rolling around on these things. I'm talking.
Glad to hear it worked.
Dirt bike would do.
And I have an electric scooter that I used to ride to and from work here. I used to live back here. And it looks like the.
Is he waiting?
Ride the aluminum one.
Is he in the
But a
waiting
lot more
room?
Oh, I have no
robust.
idea.
2
I'm gonna
wheels,
look.
little handle.
Is it
The
a
crazy
phone?
thing about it
Yeah.
is I could not find the motor.
It's not like a Segway.
Okay.
It's like a Segway, but it's like,
But they left,
it's
so
like in line.
Huh?
they already.
Oh,
I was
I
like,
sent it
there's
to
motor.
Matthew or something.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a
This
Segway, you
is my
stand on the
5-minute recess.
platform, and the motor's in the platform, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's there.
This
Okay.
one, the platform didn't have a motor, it's just a piece of metal. I was like, where's the motor? It's in the wheel. So it was like this big, and it was hauling around my grown self with a bag at 13 miles an hour down the road.
You know what one it is?
And I was like, electric motors these days are just, they're just unbelievable. I would imagine there's some golf carts that are, you can probably put a lot of people on them and they will just,
oh,
No
and
problem.
some people really, you know,
without
jimmy
even
them up.
having to.
They really rig them up.
Yeah,
They're not just a golf cart, they're a vehicle.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of people are getting mopeds now. I see a bunch of them coming back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what those funny things, what are those funny things in Corpus that they wheel on the
That's
street?
what they are.
That's a moped.
Well, no, those are,
Those are electric scooters.
Like-
Yeah.
like this
That's
one?
what I have. I have one like that, but it's less,
Go ahead.
those are
What's
heavy
last name?
duty. Like a
Plants.
little less heavy, but it's that. I have one.
Oh, they're like an
For
old
3
time,
o'clock.
when we were kids, you pushed it with one foot.
Yes.
What do you call that? What do you call that?
Scooter.
Scooter,
Yeah.
a scooter. Yeah. We all have them.
Yeah, those things are incredible. Those ones in the, around Corpus, the motor is not in the base. It's in the wheel. In the wheel. In the wheel.
So what is the deal with those? You just put like quarters in and go as far as it'll go? and
It's
then-
kind of nuts. You have to connect it to your phone with your credit card and you scan your driver's license. So,
Then can you just leave it wherever you want?
yeah,
Mike has.
when they were in Corpus, I thought it was great. 'Cause Corpus was really so spread out downtown. And my wife and I went there on a date one night. It was like, oh, we can go to Arlington. We want to eat a place a few blocks away. Just hop on one and go over there. And you just leave it. And
Are
then
they expensive?
I'm
oh,
trying.
it's really cheap. It's really cheap.
Okay,
You won't
Jackie,
even notice it's like a couple of dollars.
To rent a bike?
let him in.
No, the scooters in Corpus.
Tell me when he's connected.
Should be there.
Mr. Plant,
Yes, sir.
this is Charlie Powers, the Appraisal Review Board. We have some administrivia to deal with before we get started. Just follow along with us. I may have a few questions for you.
Okay.
We're opening hearing on 2020-780, account 24811. This hearing is being recorded with the Appraisal Review Board hearing your protest today. At the table here is Robert Dayton, Cindy Duck, Kathy Hoffman, and myself, Charlie Powers. And on Zoom is Ramona LeBlanc. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The Comptroller's Office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today that may be accessed in the appraisal district office or online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey. Survey is voluntary, but we do appreciate it if you take it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with tax code 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all your evidence?
I believe so.
Very good, thank you. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. And I will begin with I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I've not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F, and I'm signing to that effect, and I'm physically located in Texas.
I, Elizabeth Garazi, notarizing Ramona's signature. I am also located in Texas.
All testimony, all witnesses must be given under oath. Mr. Plant, I'm assuming that you are under oath as you signed the affidavit.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Evan?
Clerk do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Mr. Plant, are you a licensed appraiser?
No, sir.
Do you have on hand the hearing procedure times page from the document?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. And then you know that you can choose whether the district goes first or you go first.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, but I don't know that it matters one way or the other.
Well, who would you choose?
I mean, yeah, I'm ready when you guys are, or y'all can go. It doesn't really matter to me.
Well, we're ready, so you got 5 minutes to state your case.
Okay, well, I've sent in a written copy of my presentation. Or are you all in receipt of that? Or do you have it on the screen or something?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know that, you know, if I can read it to you, or you can read it and then comment on that.
You read it?
I don't know how. I'm sorry?
Tell us about it.
Yes, we have your information on the screen here.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
I'm getting a, you know, the words are getting kind of jumbled.
Tell us about it.
Mr. Kling, can you tell us all about this?
Yeah, well, basically, I mean, you know, basically what I've stated in here is that, you know, for several years, and I've done it both in my business here in Seguin and my home in San Antonio, I've had some outside people try to represent me in, you know, different property tax appraisal districts where I own property, and, you know, they've always done a terrible job. So I've taken it on little by little myself, and this is just another example of that. So, you know, what I did is, you know, we've had somebody else taking care of this, and then when I got the last appraisal last year, I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, they're not doing anything for us. So, you know, I want to take it on this year. So what I did is I looked at the tax rolls from 2019, and then, you know, and then obviously for the 2020 projected tax rolls, and I noticed that, you know, right away, just doing comparisons from my house to all of my neighbors, you know, one's right next door to me and down the street, 2 or 3 houses on either direction on both sides of the street. You know, when I'm looking at, and I provided a spreadsheet, I don't know if you have that data in front of you as well. When I look at the value, you know, their improvement values, you know, they're kind of all over the board, but yet these are all common or similar houses, you know, and just the disparity of last year's valuations, my house to everyone else's, or the average of everyone else around me, was about 11.5 percentage points higher than everyone else around me. So, you know, I'm glad I'm, you know, taking it on myself, because I you know, I obviously wasn't being represented very well. But what I also did is, you know, I took the data from all the different houses around me. I removed the highest one and the lowest one, you know, trying to, you know, stay away from skewing the averages somewhat. And then, you know, I mean, right now I'm just looking at averages. I think, you know, for the most part, valuations of homes are done on average sale price, average, you know, just average values across the board of like or similar homes. So, I mean, there's nothing more similar about our home than all of our neighbors. I mean, all the houses that, you know, directly around us are all very similar. We're all built about the same time frame, and all have about the same basic necessities or requirements in the home. You know, some may have a different color, or some may have a different fence, or, you know, whatever, but, you know, the vast majority of the houses are pretty much the same. So, I mean, if we're looking at valuations, and I know that, you know, the county will talk about recent sales and stuff like that, and we can go into that at that point. But, you know, I'm just looking at it, you know, on a true comparison, house to house, square footage to square footage, you know, and I tried to put the least amount of data in there as I could, but I wanted to be representative and fair about everything. And, you know, the average square foot last year was $63.18. The proposed average for this year is $92.17. That's a 46% increase year over year, which, you know, I understand that, you know, the times have been tough for the county, and I understand, you know, and also for the homeowners. And I can appreciate that everybody's trying to get their valuations back up and get their tax rolls back in check so that, you know, you conduct business. But a 46% increase is a bit aggressive. You know, and in looking at, you know, just the averages, year over year, and also in comparison, you know, I don't understand how my house could be valued so much higher than everyone else. You know, even if I take out the high and the low, I'm still the highest of all of our neighbors. I mean, at 13, you know, we're this year's valuation is $125.10 a foot versus the lowest one, which might be my direct, you know, my neighbor 2 houses down at 58, or my neighbor right next door at 98. You know, so I mean they're a bit skewed. And what I'm proposing is,
Mr. Plant,
Mr.
Plant,
yes, sir.
you're gonna have to hold off a bit. You're out of time for your initial presentation. You'll get some more time later on, but we need to let the district go next.
Okay, go right ahead.
All right, so the district has 2 minutes for cross-examine and 5 minutes for presentation.
Okay, the subject is 24811, single-family residential home on Flamingo, in Unit 2, Key Allegro. Its class is a 4FB plus. It's about 1,200 square feet for the main area.
I can't hear any of that. So.
You might going over there, sorry.
So its class is a 4FB plus, and it is 1,200 square feet for the main area. This year's notice value was $445,640. Last year's value was $427,000 and change. Nothing was done to this one, but the neighborhood did get a neighborhood adjustment. And here's why. The sales grid for the subject starts with 19 Sandpiper. It's also a 4FB plus, and it sold in August for $440,000. Then number 2 is 17 Nassau, and it's a 5SS plus, so it's a little bit nicer, and it sold for $480,000. It's nicer but smaller. And then the comp 3 is 14 Sandpiper. It's a 4FB plus, and it sold in March of 19 for $491,000. And the last one, I think it was 2 more. Okay, you got 34 Mazatlan that sold for $539, and 11 Nassau that sold for $464. So the median indicated value after those sale prices are adjusted to make them like the subject, take off the things that are nice and to add the things the subject has that the comps don't. Once that's done, the median indicated value is $481,691, which is about $40,000 over, or 35 over our notice value. So those numbers are what drives a neighborhood adjustment. The equity grid is other 4FB plus type homes. The 5FB, 4FB plus, 4FB plus, they're on Aloha, Sandpiper, and Flamingo. When adjusted to be like the subject, they would be $448,045. This is just a described house drawn, and the only thing that changed this year it happened to all of Unit 2, and it's because of those sales. And then following that is the sales ratio report, which shows that we're at 93% weighted in and 96% overall in Key Allegro.
What?
So is their street and this street are both in Unit 2? I'm
The
sorry.
subject is in Unit 2. Yeah, it's Unit 2.
And those other houses like Sandpiper, are they in Unit 2 also?
Yeah.
I just don't know it well enough.
Well, I think they're either in 1 or 2.
Okay.
And 1 and 2 both got a neighborhood adjustment this year. Sell for cheaper.
Who's up?
So now, are you done, Amy?
Yeah, that's everything that was in our packet.
Okay. All right. So now it's the homeowners, and he gets 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal. Sir, did you hear me? I'm sorry. You get 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal. So you get a total of 4 minutes, okay?
Okay. I only have a couple of questions in regards to both of the comps that he mentioned. The first one being is, as far as I can tell, looking at the different comps on, some of them, most all of them are on different streets. Some are, a few streets away. But if I'm not mistaken, and I believe looking at the square footage, all of those comps are much, I won't say much larger, but they're larger homes on top of being different class units. And then the other question that I would have is, I don't know if the comps or the sale prices are taking into account the fact that many of these homes are sold either fully furnished or with some furnishings left behind. I know that, I know of more than a few recent sales on the island where, the sale price does include furnishings. And I don't know that, that can be taken out, or how you extract that from the price to get the average, or how much that is actually skewing some of these averages.
Well, I'll tell you, if there is a significant amount of furnishings value, then that is a warranted adjustment. But on the whole, houses like this often have furniture in them, and it's not usually something that, for every person, it's kind of contributory value thing. For every person that would pay $1,000 extra for the couches, there's someone who will not pay you $1,000. They won't pay you a penny for them. So
agreed.
Unless
I'm in agreement with that, but we don't know how much of that value is actually contributory to furnishings and or with or without. So it's.
Well, I'll tell you, to the best of our knowledge and to the best of anybody's knowledge in the industry, it's zero. And I don't think that's ever going to change. If it does get changed, then real estate agents will stop getting commission on it. So that's not going to happen.
Well, my other question is, I know there are a few, recent sales on, Flamingo and even, directly across from us. Then why are those not mentioned in the recent sales data?
So wait, you're asking about sales that were not in the grid?
Well, I know of homes on Flamingo that are sold, and I know of homes, that are listed on Flamingo that are not included, in either of our data. I didn't go far enough down the street, but there, there's a.
Well, location is location's only one thing that you want to look for in a comp. It's really what you're trying to do is find one that is really similar to yours. So it's more important that it's a 4FB plus than that it's the one next door, because there's less net adjustments. And the less net adjustments you have, the less uncertainty you have about what those adjustments should be. So it's, whoever did put the packet, looks like Ray made it. He picked the comps that he thought were the most appropriate that had, these net adjustments are tiny. 3,000, 1,600, 25,000 and 36,000 on $500,000 homes. And the thing is, yours, I just can't imagine yours ever being less than 400. None of these sales are under 400.
Yeah, but it's not very often that the appraised value of something is equal to the market value. That's not.
We strive to do better on that front. It's our job to be at 100% of that number.
Good luck.
Good luck. Okay, where are we?
Well, the thing that makes it difficult is, as we're in rebuttal, the thing that makes that difficult to be at 100% is places like this where the values are increasing so fast. It's not actually just to raise the tax base. We're raising the neighborhood in this area because people are buying them for more, and we just can't lag behind. It's the market that's doing it. It's not the tax units or your agent. It's that people are buying and selling these things for more constantly.
So all right, so how do you explain the difference between the value of my house and all of the houses that are surrounding my house? And the disparities.
Just because they're going to be different, they're going to have different class codes, different sizes, different square footage, different effective age. They might have land adjustments. There's all kinds of
the land is identical across the board.
Right. I mean, and the ones that you showed, they're very close in value. I mean, you might have the highest market value on your street, but I mean, somebody's got to be the highest market value on the street.
Okay.
That's going to happen.
All right, so
Well, I don't want to be that guy, but I think, I seriously don't. I mean, but I think there's a lot to be said about averaging, cost averaging of everything. I mean, I don't want to be the highest. I don't necessarily want to be the lowest. I want to pay, my fair share, but I don't want to be the outlier. And in this case, I am the outlier.
Mr. Plant.
Yes, sir.
You have 1 minute to close.
Okay. Well, in closing, again, like I just stated, I don't want to be the highest. I don't want to be the lowest, but I do want it to be fair, which is basically how I've calculated what I proposed as my value, and that is, the average of the square footage cost between last year's approved valuations and this year's proposed valuations. I don't think it's fair to have a 46% increase, but I don't think it's fair to have, a negative value either, for your case. I am willing to settle at halfway point between last year's agreed upon pricing and this year's proposed. And that gives the county, a 24 or 22% increase over last year's value. So at 93,000 of improvement value, the total is now 388, 315. It was higher last year, but last year it was way off the mark. And I was not able to protest last year because I had someone else doing it for me.
Okay, Mr. Plant, you're out of time. District?
In closing, I'll just reiterate the two things under protest, or no, the one thing under.
Don't look at the sheet of paper.
Okay, so is it both?
It's seen. Oh, actually,
I'll just explain both of them.
Okay.
Fine. The sales grade shows that we would be well supported to value this house and land at $481,000, and it was noticed at $445,000. Equity grid shows that we would be equitable and fair, and treating him like everybody else, up to $448,000. It's within a margin of error. It's like $3,000. It says don't mess with it. We're treating this equitably. We're just describing his house. The neighborhood adjustment happened to everybody in Unit 1 and 2, and it's because of these sales. And that.
Okay. Jackie?
Yes.
Is this an electronic protest?
Yes. It shows to be. OLA.
Can you verify that only Q2 was checked?
It's an online appeal.
It does that.
Q2 is the only one I see checked online.
What's that?
Q2 is all that I see checked.
Okay, Q2.
All right, so now it's, sir, the district, the appraisal review board has 5 minutes for us to come up with our answer. And I think this one's probably pretty easy. I think that the district has proven.
Yeah.
All right, 445 on the island is a great price, no matter where you are.
Yeah. So on account number 24811, and considering the possible of the appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal, based upon what we heard from the appraisal district and from the property owner, I make a motion that we leave the 2020 value at $445,640.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you for participating, Mr. Plant.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
In the mail reiterating, and it'll tell you if you wish to pursue this
He's gone,
further,
Cindy.
what those steps.
He's gone.
He already hung up.
Oh, goodbye.
I didn't even tell him, I didn't think it's such a cool name.
Plan?
Plan. Cool name. A private detective or something.
It is. Oh my God, are you watching the Dick Tracy that comes on?
We're on TV.
Not Dick Tracy, Ramona, quit
I
laughing.
grew up watching Perry.
No,
Well, I was like, wow.
and it explains how we got started. It's awesome, because
Playing
he's,
Perry Mason.
huh?
Who's playing Perry Mason?
It's, not a guy that I forget, I don't, I'm just not good that way.
And that was every day at lunch when I was a kid. Was Perry Mason.
No,
and
no,
Wild
no,
America.
yes, no, I love all the
What's the other
old
one?
ones
Wild
with
America?
Raymond
Yeah.
Burr and,
Somehow my parents ended up with cases of VHSs of every copy of every episode of Wild America.
really?
We just watched it. Yeah.
Well, you would love this.
Got it from the
Is it on,
PBS station.
what, Netflix or what?
Netflix, at HBO. Because every Saturday, there's 8 episodes and they've only done 7. So this Saturday is the last episode of this, well, this storyline. But it's explaining how he got into where he goes. Do we have another one? No?
No, just the letter.
Okay,
I remember what we decided.
so, were you here? No. You weren't, were you here? when
Wasn't
we
here.
just-
So just the
No.
3 of you.
It was just
Okay.
the three of us.
So Val made a copy of these and, you know what? I don't have the letter. She give you another one? Here, Charlie.
What is that?
This is that part that I asked her to,
So,
the highlighted part.
I remember what we decided.
No, we didn't
I
decide.
mean, what we decided that would affect us. Remember we talked about.
Thank you.
thank you.
I remember what the decision was. We couldn't remember what we applied to this or not.
I'm not sure if I know, I don't,
Well, I mean, all when you talk.
let me get the letter though, because
They
they
missed
didn't.
the hearing and didn't call in. No show hearing, correct? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes,
I think so.
yeah, that is, that's the one.
They no showed the hearing and Val said you had to have an order to reschedule. If they would have called and canceled, she could have done it on her own. I think that was it.
They wrote a letter that day.
So just read those, the 2 that are yellow. Oh, here, I'll turn on the light. Let me go get the letter, Charlie, because it doesn't make sense.
We're here.
Well,
Didn't pertain to
Damon
you
was
anyway.
here.
The letter.
Doesn't pertain to
Yeah.
you anyway, so. I remember what, and I know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
all.
remember y'all reading it.
I think it's y'all have to vote yes or no.
Yeah. I remember y'all reading it. Looking at the, that Perry Mason show. Not like the original one.
On the original one, I mean, no, he never lost for one thing, he always won the
Mhm.
case.
There's a 0% chance that this will ever be watched when me and my wife are in our house. No way.
You find the letter?
Did I find, I think it's back here.
There's a letter in an envelope.
Yeah, this must be it.
Find it.
Is that it? I think it is. Because it's in here with that.
Yeah, and that's the name, right?
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, she said it was the boardroom in the folder marked August 3rd.
And you remember,
I was just thinking about getting some of those. I was just looking at those bags over there.
After I read it one. I believe you.
I remember what the decision was that we made. Before that really doesn't pertain to this. And we couldn't make a decision whether the decision we made before, because we couldn't remember what it was, pertained to this, but I remember what the decision was. Yeah.
Okay, so this letter
That
came,
helps any.
we read this letter the other day. And then we had discussion, so we said, you know, we'll just wait till everybody's here. So, all right, and the two parts that I had Val copy this, and she highlighted those two parts so that the E1 and the E2. All right, and this came July 30th, the Aransas County appraisal. Charlie, are you listening?
Yes.
Okay. He was over there paying attention to those papers. Dear Aransas County Appraisal District Board, okay? I'm writing in regards to our property at 2292 North Unit 504, okay, and our property ID and owner ID. I missed our scheduled appeals hearing on Tuesday, July 28th. She wrote this letter on the 30th. It was received, and it must have been an email. Yes, it was. Because Val received it on the 30th, so we're talking 2 days. Okay? There was some confusion on my part regarding the hearing date because the emails were sent to my husband's email since he initiated the appeals process. It was decided I would attend the hearing since his schedule did not permit him to be in town on the hearing date. Would it be possible to have it rescheduled, or may I submit my notarized affidavit and evidence? I appreciate your consideration. And I said, the issue of her husband started it, but then she took it over. I did not think that on its own, if this was an extenuating circumstance, I didn't feel like that's their problem. I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But does this, and that's what I asked Val,
Look at E2.
that 4 days of, right, I had her make these copies for y'all so y'all could read it. So I've looked at them. And so,
I forgot, doesn't sound like, quote, good cause, unquote, to me.
No,
Yeah.
doesn't me either.
but wait a minute, E1, property owner, okay, to represent at the hearing, who fails to appear at the hearing, which is what happened.
Yeah.
They failed to.
I got it.
Okay, is entitled to a new hearing not later, if the property owner or their agent, not later than the 4th day after the date the hearing occurred. A written statement with the appraisal review board showing good cause
Yeah.
for the failure.
Nobody's arguing the timeline.
Okay,
The timeline is right.
okay,
The good cause is not there.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's what I said. I didn't feel cause is good on its own. The 4-day rule is there, but you still
Ramona?
have to have good cause.
We were questioning the decision,
Ramona?
decision we made a long time ago.
Me?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with
You agree with this?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I don't think there's just cause.
Right,
Okay.
we all agree. Then, I guess maybe because I read this, maybe somebody else should make the motion. Okay, so I make a motion that we,
Thank you.
the rescheduling of the hearing for Amy Rigel Schomburg is denied based upon looking at E1.
We don't have to put all that in. It's just denied. We don't have to give an excuse. We don't have to give a
Well, by golly, it's denied.
It's denied.
It's denied.
Good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
One more. Oh, another letter? Is it a good
She
one?
likes to spring things on you.
What, Ramona?
She likes the spring. thing.
I
Troublemaker.
said she likes to spring things on you.
No, she didn't like say, oh, and I have another one. She just like, okay, wait. And then after we read this, then I want to hear what you had to say. Okay, so, dear ARB members. There's a letter underneath it. Okay, Beth, oh, okay.
It's an email.
Shane is the person.
Mhm.
Oh, so she just sent this to you and this came to you today?
Mhm.
Just like, okay, a little while. So, okay, we'll actually see the slide. I, Shane Neely, did not make my 10 a.m. appointment today because I somehow somehow thought that I had read that it was at 1 p.m. today, 8/3/2020. I
She
don't.
missed it this morning at 8:30, but she.
No, she says she had read that it was at, oh, she missed her 10 a.m. appointment today because she thought it was at 1 p.m. today. I don't know the rhyme or reason as to why I thought that, other than having a brain fart. I do.
Honesty.
I do apologize that I wasted time today for me not to show for the scheduled hearing. That is very unlike me. I would like to request another date and time to present my evidence for the appraisal protest. It would be greatly appreciated if you would grant my request. Thank you for your time and understanding.
No.
No, I mean, and I think if the person had been there at 1 o'clock, come in and then they had said, no. You know, because sometimes you can't read stuff right, but no.
No.
I make a motion that we do not, that Shane A. Neely Jr. does not get to reschedule their hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now wait, now Kathy wanted to tell you, okay.
No, we had a big discussion about, we had made a decision about an issue. The issue was, well, first of all, we talked about the thing that had nothing to do with it. The issue that we made a decision on was that anybody who submitted any kind of a email, letter, whatever, asking for a hearing, having missed the deadline, that we would decline them all. That's the decision that we made. So it had nothing to do with the 4-day deal. It had to do with anybody who missed the date, whatever excuse they came up with, we're still going to decline. Does that all, does everybody remember that? Or am I making this?
No, after the deadline, was that where we also said they had to be, what we call 2025 cases?
Yeah, well,
That isn't us, that is the
That's
law.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
think
we
the
weren't
only-
gonna say, okay, this person had a toothache and had a tooth pulled or whatever, so, okay, so we feel bad for them, we'll give them. We just said, we can't be given, have to be in a position of sorting out the details of individuals. If you missed it, you missed it, you're done.
Yes.
That's the decision we made.
That is the
Nothing-
decision, and I know for a fact, that is because it was like, okay, if we're gonna deny
So we're
this,
being consistent.
then exactly.
Being
This is
consistent.
a really bad thing, so therefore, from here on out, we are gonna deny them all unless they cite the 25/25, and it looks like they could hit it.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's right.
I'll entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
move that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.